Hey, what's up guys, it's Theyo from Theyo Concept, and this is the Nikkor 28 to 75mm f2.8 lens for Nikon mirrorless cameras with a Z mount. But for half the price of the 24 to 70 f2.8 lens, is this good enough? Well, let's find out then. Comparing this to the 24 to 70 f2.8 lens, this is by far the most affordable option for most photographers. So for photographers and videographers who want the standard zoom and a constant aperture, this is looking quite interesting to them. This is a fast standard zoom lens for Nikon Z mount cameras, providing a 28 to 75mm zoom range. The Nikkor 28 to 75mm lens features a single barrel design. It is also surprisingly lightweight, weighing only 565 grams. This makes it one of the lightest f2.8 zoom lenses available. The lens comes with a lens hood right out of the box. The lens hood is plastic but features a more premium design. The plastic lens hood is also reversible, so that is another good thing about this. The glass up front is beautiful and big and doesn't come with any durability issues. Even though the lens is a plastic build, it features a metallic mount with some level of weather sealing. While it doesn't have the advanced coating found in the Nikon's S line of lenses, it still delivers good optical performance. The autofocus system on this camera lens works silently and you wouldn't notice any issues when focusing with this. The zoom ring is also rubberized and turns smoothly. The lens in itself doesn't come with any form of image stabilization, unlike the other more expensive ones. But given the fact that the Nikon Z line of cameras come with in-camera sensor shift vibration reduction, try saying that 5 times, you still get quite decent stabilization in both photos and videos. You may have noticed that there aren't any fancy buttons, manual or autofocus switches, or screens on the lens as well. It just has the zoom ring and the manual focus ring, which you can actually set up in the settings menu to do a couple of other things. The lens has autofocus with a built-in autofocus drive and allows for manual focus override by turning the multifunctional control ring. The lens has a filter size of 67mm, so in case you want to mount UV or ND filters on it, you would have to keep that in mind. It has a maximum aperture of f2.8, which closes up to a minimum of f22. The Nikkor 28 to 75mm f2.8 lens has a closest focal distance of 0.19 meters at 28mm and 0.39 meters at 75mm. The lens is a zoom lens, of course, and zooming in extends the overall length of the lens. For that reason, this isn't really ideal for most people who would like to be shooting videos with this, especially when they have it mounted on a gimbal. And you may have guessed, once you balance this on a gimbal and start zooming in, because the overall length is increased, it will start tipping over. So yeah, as mentioned, this lens is for only Nikon Z system of cameras. So mounting this on your Z5 or Z6, Z7 and all of that good stuff isn't really going to come with an issue, and you wouldn't even have to require the adapters as well. So no need purchasing it separately. I should also mention I did notice a small zoom in feature, and I believe that is probably present because Nikon wants you to be able to use this with the Z line of cameras that come with the APS-C sensor, like the Z50 and the Z30 and all of that. So you should be able to mount this on them and still get as much functionality from the lens as well. Now, I only noticed this when I had it on a 35mm mark, and I compared it with my Tamron 35mm f1.8, which I'm using to shoot this video at the moment. And I noticed that on the Tamron, it had a much wider field of view as compared to this. That was when I noticed that this has that little bit of zoom in effect. The good news about this lens is its aperture, which is stuck at its widest at f2.8. Unlike other lenses which tends to close up the aperture when zooming in, this does not. And as you can see in this shot right here, that zooming in and out still remains at f2.8 aperture throughout. With that mentioned, there are 9 aperture blades in all. This allows for that round circular dreamy bokeh light you see in the background of images and videos. Now compared to my current zoom lens, the Nikkor 24 to 105mm f4 lens, the Nikkor 28 to 75mm f2.8 lens is way slimmer, lighter and comfortable to hold. Now there's one thing I need to address though. This lens looks like the exact copy of the Tamron 28 to 75mm f2.8 lens for Sony E-mount cameras. They have similar looks, design, and functionalities. So to some extent, other people will say Nikon basically just copied what Tamron had, but I honestly don't have any issues with it. Now it has given us the opportunity to have a more affordable standard zoom lens for Nikon cameras. So it's a win-win for everyone. Now, in terms of video quality, I didn't have any issues with using this. This is by far one of the nicest lenses I've ever used on my Nikon Z5. The other one would be the Tamron 24-70 f2.8 lens, which I love the most, but I don't have it with me at the moment. So I would rather go for this. In terms of video quality, I've not had any issues with this. It works just fine for what I use it for, which is wedding video recording. And mostly we have this on the main camera, so that is that. And in terms of image quality, I shot an entire dinner section with just this lens because switching from my 35 to 85 consistently was becoming quite annoying. And with this, I could just zoom in and out right out of my shots and I wouldn't have to move back and forth or just change the lenses on the regular basis. But one issue I did notice with this is at f2.8 you don't get that much sharpness in the corners of your images. It is sharp, but it is not very sharp like the 24-70 S for Nikon Z cameras. But hey, I shoot pictures of people and most of the work I do is for people. It doesn't really come with the architecture or landscape field, so I don't really have issues with them. And even when I'm taking pictures of people in a group or single pictures, I usually have them at the center of the frame, and at the center of the frame this lens is at its sharpest, so I haven't really had an issues with that. I don't mind the corner being blurred out and being so soft. It doesn't really affect me that much. But if you're someone who is into architecture or landscape and those corner edges are very important to you, then you can consider the more expensive 24-70 f2.8 lens, or you can consider stopping down or reducing your aperture to get more in focus. So for almost 13,000 Ghana cedis, would I recommend this? Well, definitely. If you are a photographer or videographer who is looking for a standard zoom lens which has a constant aperture of f2.8, then this is one to go for, especially if you're a Nikon shooter. Now, you may have noticed that there aren't that many standard zoom lenses within this price point. Most of them are quite expensive, and those which are not even expensive, you will have to get the adapter to work with it. And even with that, sometimes the adapters and the lenses don't really work quite well. So getting a native lens that fits directly onto the camera without any adapter is a win-win. I mean, that is something I would go for. But let me know, guys, is this something you would want to purchase? A 13,000 Ghana cedis lens? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, everything I've mentioned in this video is going to be linked in the description below. So if you want to purchase any of them, just use the links in the description. Also down there is everything I use in my YouTube videos, the lapel mic and the recorder I have right in front of me, my lighting setup, the camera I use and the lenses I use will all be in the description below. So be sure to check them out and purchase a few of them. Of course, they are affiliate links, so if you want to support me without it being an extra cost to you, kindly use my links in the description. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and other channels which I have them linked below. And as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Theyo Concept, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.